Futures trading involves risk and is not suitable for all investors. Content provided in this segment is meant for educational purposes and is not a solicitation to buy or sell commodities.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Tech Talk. I am Cody. He is Andy with Paige. In the background, we make up the Tech Talk trio. Today is Thursday. We're actually recording this on Thursday, the 29th of May. It is probably 2:15 Central Time right now.
Sure.
All right.
Did you wear a bandana earlier?
I knew you were going to ask. No. So what happened is Saturday I was helping my neighbor build a fence. It was overcast. There was no sun. Didn't think I needed sunscreen. I got burnt. Thank you for bringing that up now.
How'd the fence turn out?
It was really good. It's a nice fence. A little white picket fence. We got it all done, set up, and then I realized that I burnt myself. I never learned.
That's really nice of you. So is this the same neighbor that you shoveled their driveway and stuff?
Yeah. They needed some help. They weren't quite sure what to do. And so I just went over there, helped them for a few hours. Didn't think about it. The sun never came out. Every year, man, I burn my head at least once.
What are you going to do?
I look ridiculous. So
that's really impressive that you can build a fence.
Anyone else who needs a fence built, just give us a call.
You should tell them about the drywall you put up in my garage.
That was years ago. It's still standing to this day.
It is still standing. Well insulated, the whole thing.
The whole thing. Well, we've got 3 charts today.
We do have 3 charts today. One came at request.
Yep, our good buddy Jay Barf.
We've also got a couple here too that seems to come up more and more in conversation with customers internally, etc.
This one is very important, actually, the block.
So we switched to, we are now officially block only, right? For class 3. We were barrel block barrel, whatever floats your boat in terms of how you want to say it.
Yeah.
Barrel, gone. See you later. So yeah, it's just block only. What a chart this looks like. Look at this W. How about that? Didn't we talk about this? Didn't we talk about this like right here?
We did.
W completing?
Was it 2 weeks ago when we had talked about it? And we were talking about the W formation. And then today, so today is Thursday. We've got one more trading day tomorrow. But I guess here's my question is we're 1/4 cent higher on the high than we were last week. We engulfed that wick. If we settle here, then we have the highest settled block price since October, right?
Hang on. It wouldn't be here because this is 88.75. It would be right here, 194.75. Yep. You are correct. Just like the very beginning of October, new high settle for the year for the block on a weekly basis.
Here's my question. Because we engulfed last week's that wick pretty much, and if we settle here tomorrow, let's just say we don't move, that would be a bullish transition for the block. And right now we're at 194.75.
Correct. So last week's high was 194.75. Here we are, 194.75 with a high of 195 for the week.
Yeah.
I would agree. I mean, it's hard to argue that like you've had obviously a nice W take shape. We're in the new highs for the year. I threw in this line right here, mainly because that's basically where futures are telling us the block can go. For a long time now, the futures have been saying the block is going to go in the new highs for the year. And it's not just, like the front month, right? It's been basically every futures contract for the rest of the year, except for the December, which is always DC is always a bit of a pig, right? And so, yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue that the way, not only the futures, but then now you've got Friday, last week's session, really this downtick was all Friday.
Correct. Yep.
Right. And we were down like 8 or something like that. But what's so interesting about that is, not so fast. I mean, it was a long weekend, right? So Tuesday, by Wednesday afternoon, basically, really Tuesday. But by Wednesday, we had basically retraced all of that and then some. What that tells me is that this market certainly doesn't like to be below 190. You couldn't even be there for a day.
No. Well, even today, I mean, futures, and we're going to look at July here in a second, futures down pretty hard in June and Q3, but that was only, we are still higher on a cheese price than we were yesterday because of the barrel uptick, actually.
Correct.
Which is crazy.
What's interesting to me about this is that you've got some room. So here's RSI. It shows that it's got a nice uptrend to it.
Yep.
And that there's still plenty of room before it's, overbought. Momentum turned positive, tried to go back to being negative. This was basically late last week.
Yeah.
And to no avail, popping right back up. That's a sign of strength. I mean, so you have these secondary indicators that are telling you that this is strong. Plus, overall, just the formation itself looks pretty good. And it has been very resilient.
Yes.
Right? So Friday tried to break. Nope. Not happening.
Another interesting caveat to this, and we don't have it pulled up, but the CFTC report of the longs and shorts, we actually flipped last week from being more net short positions to more net long positions in class 3.
For the SPAC?
for the spec, for the speculators, which I found was very interesting. So that brings up the question. You have the green line at $2. Is $2 probably the next magnet on this block chart?
It sure feels like it. And I think you got to be we're going to look at July futures in a second. July last week, I think you got to be a little bit careful because every time July tries to roll over, it comes back. But yeah, to me, I think if you're going to get the next move in the futures market to the upside, this has to go close. I think it has to go ring the $2 bell. It's got to go do it.
Got to do it.
So
tomorrow. Well, not tomorrow, but
yeah, I mean, I think it takes a shot at it, right? To me, it's like if it can't hear from this point, then you're likely going to at least go test this. This is a long-term 200. That's a 200-week average. So I think you would essentially go and test that at least. But again, like the market really struggled. I mean, it was there for one day. Like this candle last week, this was all Friday.
It was
basically called that Friday's candle.
Yeah.
But immediately, that's a sign of strength. This attempt to break and immediately rejecting it the next day, that is a clear sign of strength. And so now you're going to, assuming we settle here or higher tomorrow, we'll be into new highs on a weekly basis.
So even an open close tomorrow, no movement is still a high on the weekly chart going back to last
October.
Yep.
October, that's right. So yeah, to me, that would be another sign of strength. Again, I drew this line here because this is basically where the futures have been kind of pointing at here up front. Coming into the summer months, I mean, like I don't know. I don't think you can count out going to go trade $2.
And then I don't want to get too excited.
I feel like the market has been, fighting that for a while now. But still, like the resilience here out of the cash market has been really impressive. So I think you have to be respectful of that. Let's take a quick look.
Hope you get July.
What's so interesting about it is the futures here. We talked about how some of this, like the secondary stuff was looking good for the block. It certainly isn't looking that way for July.
Yeah.
Money flow index is starting to roll over. So is momentum. I don't know how you want to say about momentum. I mean, it's into new highs. But the RSI's taking a couple shots at overbought and now coming back down into it. So there's room to break there. Still, you're in an uptrend, aren't you? It's close.
It's close.
And it depends on where you want to draw it. I mean, if you want to use the wicks, you're still got some room. It's still technically in an uptrend. To me, it's like, I don't want to get overly short that until you've broken this long-term uptrend.
No.
Every time you take a shot trying to sell this thing, it just, look at this.
It works for 2 days. And that's about it.
Look at that can. Bam. And then bam.
Yep.
And then, nope, not today. So we'll see. I mean, there's been several attempts for this market to try to roll over into no avail. What could be, I think, a death nail for this, let's say you rally back. And let's say they do go ring $2 for cheese and we rally back and you fail to put in a new high here. I'll use that close, or they open on that, to 2020 for July. So you go trade 2015 and then come back down and break this trend.
Bearish.
Lower high.
Right.
I think that would be probably somewhat of I don't know if I want to use the word death nail just yet, but that would be pretty bearish.
Right. Okay.
So I think you got to be careful here, selling it though. Like I said, I mean, every time it's punched through this, tried to, and this day, I remember this day. This was, I believe, a Tuesday.
Yeah. Yes, it was.
That was GDT Tuesday. GDT had the big downtick. Futures were, they beat them up pretty good, down like 40 pre-cash or something.
Yeah.
And came just ripped right back. So,
and I remember on that day, everyone kind of thought it was a head and shoulders pattern and the party was over. And then literally the next day we were up, 60 cents?
62 cents. Very close.
It was just,
that?
Just like that. Because I had somebody call in the other day and we were looking at July and he said, do you think it's a 5, the Elliott theory, 5 wave?
Yeah.
And I started to draw it out. I'm like, ugh, it could be, but it depends on where you want to draw it from. I was drawing it from the gap at $18 up. But to your point, if we don't sustain this break that we saw yesterday and today, then that's out the window, I think. It can't be. There's no wave to it.
Correct. Yeah. No, I agree. Again, if you want to try to pick a top, go for it. I feel like this market is getting beat up trying to fight this rally here.
And yeah, futures came back towards the close this afternoon also a little bit.
I think you got to break this long-term uptrend before you talk about getting aggressively short. I really do. There's a bit of a premium, so you got a little bit of a lead. But we've seen how quickly, the block was down close to 8 cents on Friday. And within 2 days, it's got all that back and then some. So it's not like this market can't move a nickel on a spot basis pretty quickly. And now, remember, it's only the block. So it's not like they have to move the barrel and the block a nickel to get it to move 50 cents a hundredweight.
Correct.
So it's a little bit of a different ball game here, dude.
It is. The barrel still trades, but it technically doesn't matter in the pricing.
Correct. So yeah, but I think if you want to get overly short here, July class 3, this uptrend has to be respected. So until this is, you get a close through it, open lower, maybe you're missing the initial part of it. But that's what I think you have to do, because I think this is the way this has been trading. It's been so respectful of this uptrend.
Yeah.
So, all right. Last one, certainly not least. This one came at official request. Our good friend Jay Barf. Our good buddy, Jay Barf.
Ooh, corn.
Corn. What do you think here, boss?
Corn's looking a little bit bearish. Every time we get that rally.
Bearish.
It cannot sustain.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with you.
I guess if you want to be bullish and you want to get long this contract, you're wrong at $4.21.
Yeah, I was going to say the exact same thing, right? So you start talking about, here's that low.
Yeah, you're 9 cents away.
420. Yeah. So if you were looking for a spot to try and take a shot at being long and you go test 420, you get a pretty tight stop knowing where you're wrong.
Yep.
To your point, I guess if I was looking for a spot to get long, let's take a look at something here real fast. You've got quite the long term. Depends on what you want to use. Do you want to use the opens or like the body of the candle? My preference is the body of the candle, not the wick.
Okay.
But either way, so I use the body, and the next touch point is this wick. But it also, I want to respect these guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have this long-term downtrend. Even if you bump this up to here, it's still a long-term downtrend. It doesn't really matter that much.
Right.
So I guess like the question that I had is, do you fail to put in a new low and then bump up against this again? Because that would be a sign of impending strength. It would be a downtrend that is losing steam, so to speak. And if it can't put in a new low and then it goes and breaks through this, you could get a pretty wicked retracement.
So you're just pretty much making a wedge.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 50% retracement if you were able to get through this. I don't think that would be difficult, right? So I think you got to be a little bit careful wanting to get short here. You've had a significant break. It looks weak. I'm not going to disagree with you. But you're also coming up against, again, like if this downtrend can't continue, that's a big warning sign, because it's going to bump up against this guy again. And it'll do it while it's, I don't know how to, I'm probably going to butcher this, but it's going to be like slowing down. Its rate of change in terms of its break will start to really decelerate.
Right.
And what's interesting about it too, when I say that, the momentum, while this looks weak, the downward momentum is clearly climbing back to unched. It's not even yet, but this is not being respected as much because it's retracing this big abrupt rally. I think you gotta be a little bit careful here. If you're short, probably looking for spots to at least, like hedge off gains, so to speak, buy calls or something. And if you're looking to get short, it's like, okay, but if you can't get through 420, I'd want to have a plan to get out of this thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Conversely, if you're looking to get long and you get down to 420 and you've got a great out, I mean, it's a very, you break through 420 and you close into new lows. Yikes. It's ugly.
Look how many times we've rebounded off of 425, even 420. The market just does not like to be down there and hold a pattern.
You know what?
Even look at a monthly, Yep, there you go.
Monthly doesn't look great. What if you put in a higher low on this thing? Get down. So let's go take a look at that 420 number we talked about.
You bring yourself down back to $4. Yeah.
What if you fail to get down below? What if you fail to get here? Come down to here. Momentum crosses positive. You've got a lot of room to prospectively retrace, don't you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What if we went to $6 corn? Wouldn't that be wild? Jim he just had a shudder wherever he is in the world. Just, $6.
Didn't want to hear that.
Okay. Well, how about we end on that one?
Perfect.
Just call it a day.
Awesome.
All right.
Big shout out to Jay Barf. We appreciate you writing in.
Jay Barf.
If anyone has any for next week, please let us know. We had one this week. Really good discussion. But until then, appreciate everyone tuning in. If you have not subscribed already to the Everegg channel, please hit the subscribe button, the notification bell. Give us a thumbs up if you like the channel. And we will try to bring the same kind of excitement next week.
That sounds good to me.
So until then, everyone have a great weekend. Great start to your week. We'll see you next time.
And if you need a fence,
If you need a fence, give us a call.
or drywall,
We're just builders.
there's builders.